Hello students, we are going to study the chapter Microorganisms, Friend and Foe. Let us just understand these words, microorganisms, friend and foe. Okay. So first of all, what are microorganisms? The word micro is coming over here. It means very, very, very small. Okay. So these organisms are very, very small, which cannot be seen by our eyes. If we want to see it without any aid, okay, we can't see it. Okay, these microorganisms, these are also known as microbes also. Okay, these organisms, they are known as microorganisms or microbes. Okay, now how can we say that this is a friend or foe? Because these microorganisms, we can't say that it is only beneficial for us. Okay, it is also harmful. So the title over here has been given friend and foe. It means whether they are friends or they are our enemies or by causing us what? Harm. Okay. Now, microorganisms, how will you observe it? In the environment, we are standing, I'm standing over here, okay? In the environment, in the air, I can't see anything. Okay, but with the help of the microscope, if you see, there are number of spores present in the environment, and these are microscopic in nature. And as the result, you can't see it. Okay, suppose if you have got any fungal infection, okay, you start itching. It start itching, na? What happens? Why does it happen? You have not come in contact with anything or any other infected thing. Then also it comes this inching. You feel the inching. Why? Because these microorganisms, they spores are present in the environment. We can't see it with our eyes, and yes, it attacks your skin. Okay, this happens when the conditions are favorable for their growth on the skin. Okay, so these are present everywhere as they are micro. When we are using the word microorganisms, it means it is present in the environment or in any specimen which we cannot see with our eyes. Suppose if you take water from the pond and you observe it from the microscope, what will you observe? That it is consisting of number of microorganisms in it. So these microorganisms, only you can observe it with the help of a microscope or any magnifying thing. Otherwise, we can't see it with our eyes. So basically, when we talk about the microorganisms, the groups which comes under this term microorganisms are bacteria, fungi, viruses, then comes algae. Okay, so bacteria, fungi, viruses, algae. Okay, and one more is there, that is the protozoans. Okay, so starting with bacteria. Okay, we are starting with bacteria. They are microorganisms. This word is also familiar to you all, isn't it? How come? Any bacterial disease, we can say cholera, okay, and diphtheria, then tuberculosis. These are caused by what? Bacteria only. So when we come to bacteria, okay, they are microorganisms, can't be seen with our unaided eyes, okay. So let us study about it bit, okay. So this is particularly a bacterial cell, okay. This bacterial cell is prokaryotic in nature. Prokaryotic in nature. Prokaryotic in nature means pro means pehle, first, okay. Karyotic means what? Nucleus, okay. So initial nucleus, okay. We know that yes, we have studied in the previous video that yes, animal cell, plant cells, prominent nucleus, having a nuclear membrane. But here what we are seeing, that this nucleus is just suspended, not having any membrane in it, okay, and thereby this is known as what? Nucleoid. Okay, so these have got all the primitive characteristic features. All the membrane bond organelles are absent in case of bacteria, okay, and they are very, very small, causing tremendous diseases also. Number of diseases are caused by different types of bacteria, I said to you right now. And yes, some bacteria are useful also, like the bacteria which we use for making the curd, isn't it? How is curd made, beta? Okay, we take the milk and we add a sample of the curd in it. And after 4 to 5 hours, we see that yes, the curd has been set. The milk has totally formed the curd. What has happened actually in that? We have added what? A particular type of bacteria known as lactobacillus in that. Okay, and this bacteria, this particular bacteria has increased in number by multiplying and thereby converting the milk into curd. Okay, now coming to fungi, what are these fungi? Still, we are studying, I'm seeing number of spores are present in the environment, okay, in the air, around you, around me, everywhere. Okay, this can be seen also, this fungi. When we talk about this fungi, number of examples are there. The mucor, bread mold, okay, aspergillus, penicillium, okay, and others also you can say, mushrooms also you can say. Okay, so some fungi are, again I'll be saying, good, some are causing harm also. Okay, so here you can see a particular fungi over here, that is the bread mold. Okay, actually these structures which have been drawn on the board of this mucor, okay, these are the magnified structures because you can't see it in this manner. Okay, suppose if you keep a moist bread, okay, and after 2 days you see, you will be seeing white patches on the bread, and then it is being converted into green color and then even to black color. What is being happening in that? Actually there, the fungi, this bread mold, okay, and that basically that name of that fungi is mucor. Okay, this has started its multiplication. Why? Because it has now got a favorable condition. The bread is moist. Okay, now as they are saprophytic in nature, you all know what happens. It starts its multiplication on that bread, feeding on that bread and thereby increasing in number. And how that has happened? Because the spores are present in the environment. When it falls on this substance, which is totally favorable for its growth, it starts its multiplication. And then what happens? You can see that yes, whole bread has been spoiled, isn't it? Like oranges, you keep it for many days and then you will be seeing total blue structures on that. Okay, what is that? When you try to rub it, you will feel it like powder type. What is that? That is nothing but the penicillium. Okay, so these are what? The microbes, these fungi, which are growing in different things. Okay, wherever it is getting the favorable, it also grows on the skin. Because what happens? It feeds on that and then starts its multiplication. And yes, when it grows too much, you start itching. Now, coming to viruses. Okay, when we talk about viruses, are they living thing or non-living thing? Like bacteria, when we are saying it is living. When fungi, we are saying it is living. But when we talk about virus, are they living things? Beta, when they are in the environment, they are non-living in nature. But when they infect any living organism, they penetrate into any living organism, what happens? It starts its multiplication. And when it starts its multiplication, now it is what? Living. So, we can say that yes, this virus is the connecting link between living and non-living. Okay. So, nowadays this coronavirus, okay. This coronavirus, okay, what structure does it have? You can see it is of this structure named corona. From where it has come? It has come from the radiations of the sun. Okay, the radiation of the sun which is being formed. Okay, this is known as corona. And the structure when we see of this coronavirus, it resembles that only. And as the result has been given the name coronavirus. And you all know how much dangerous it is. No explanation is needed for that, isn't it? So what is this then? Bacterial phase. Okay, what is this bacterial phase? This is a virus which has invaded the bacteria, or it has penetrated the cell of the bacteria and started its multiplication, and then that is known as bacterial phase, because here the material is of virus, okay, and the body is of bacteria. Thereby we call it as what? Bacterial phase. And you can see how it is, isn't it? You can see the tail of this bacterial phase, this spiral structure, and this is the most infective stage of this bacterial phase, this part of this bacterial phase. Okay. Coming to algae. Okay. When we talk about algae, number of algae, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, okay, Spirogyra, you can make just I over here, okay, and this Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra. Okay, spiral shaped, okay, consisting of what? Nucleus also. Okay, so this is Chlamydomonas, okay, Spirogyra. These all are also what? Microorganisms. Okay, we can see it, we can visualize it under the microscope only. Okay, and they are what? Free living. Okay, protozoans, simple, amoeba. Okay, it is a protozoan. Okay, free living, totally in nature. Okay, bacteria. Some more detail. Let us go. When we talk about bacteria, it is of different types. Okay, and different types are decided by its shape. Okay, so first bacillus. Okay, this tuberculosis, TB, is caused by this form of bacteria only, the bacillus form. Okay, then the vibrio form is there, which is comma shaped. Cocci, which is totally round shaped. Spiral, you can see that it is just like the spiral, or you can say the ladder shaped. Okay, the spiral bacteria. All these are dangerous, causing what? Different diseases. Okay, so basically about microorganisms, you have studied the bacteria, the bacterial phase, the virus, the fungi, the algae, the protozoans. Okay, these are our microorganisms, and they are beneficial as well as harmful for us. So when we talk about these microorganisms, where do they live actually? Do you think that it exists in a particular space? No. It exists everywhere. From the starting I am saying. Okay. It can exist in the extreme cold conditions. Okay, where snow is only present. There also bacteria is present. And when we talk about hot springs, there also bacteria is present. When we talk about deserts, there also bacteria is present. It means when I'm saying in this manner, it means what? This bacteria and this other microorganisms, all whatever we are saying, basically we can move on with the bacteria and the viruses, okay? Everywhere it is present. There is no boundary for that. So this microorganisms can tolerate even the extreme conditions for their growth. Now let us see that how these microorganisms are related to us. Okay, how? They are friendly as well as they are harmful, isn't it? They are beneficial for us as well as they are harmful for us. So we can say they are our friends or they are our enemies also. Okay, so let us study first the nice one only, that is, it is friendly to us. Okay, like now I have said that he is setting of the curd is what? These microorganisms are acting, and as a result the milk is being changing into curd. This bread, bhature, dosa, idli, everything you eat, okay, what is the basic principle behind that? That is the microorganism, okay, which is giving it a fluffy nature. Cakes, everywhere we require this. Okay, when we talk about the fertility of the soil, okay, nitrogen fixation, who are responsible for that? This bacteria, Azotobacter. We have studied this, isn't it? naturally they are fixing the nitrogen, the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So here when we talk about this, these bacteria are totally very useful for us, isn't it? Suppose your mummy is making idlis, okay? What does she take? She takes rice, she takes dal, okay? And then what? She soaks it in water for 4 to 5 hours. And then what does she do? She grinds it, isn't it? And then what does she do? She keeps it, okay? For 4 to 5 hours. What happens in that? The bacteria, the microorganism basically, I will say, okay, starts multiplying in that. And as the result, what happens? You see that the batter which has been taken now has been risen up, isn't it? Suppose in the utensil, first it was only covering the half space. After the fermentation, it rises up, isn't it? So now if the batter of a dough of bhature is being made, what happens? In that also, when the dough is made, it is this much only small. And then afterwards, it what happens? It rises up. Why? Because of the multiplication of this microorganism. And they are respiring. They are giving out carbon dioxide. And so in that pores, what is being trapped? That is the carbon dioxide. Okay. And as a result, you see it becomes fluffy and you get good bhatures, good idlis to eat, isn't it? Now let us see some commercial uses of microorganisms. Okay. Like the formation of the alcohol. Okay. Alcohol कैसे बनता है? Okay. Just do this experiment at home only. Okay. Take water, take sugar, add sugar in it, and then add yeast in that. Okay. After doing that, cover it for several days. Okay, 3 or 4 days. And then take out the lid. Smell, you'll get the particular smell, a peculiar smell of alcohol. Actually, what has happened over here? The yeast has multiplied. Yeast is what? A fungi. Yeast क्या होता है बेटा? Fungi होता है. Okay, and it has started multiplication. And as it starts multiplication, yes, number is increasing, respiring more, thereby producing what? Alcohol. Okay, and this process is known as what? Fermentation. So, basically, the process of fermentation is carried out for the formation of alcohol. Okay, so alcohol is prepared by the process of fermentation. Okay, when I had talked about, I have said about bhature and all, in that also you can add yeast. Okay, for making the dough of pizza, you can add what? Yeast. These are all commercial uses only. Okay, you are eating burgers, all needs yeast. Okay, and this fermentation, the multiplication, gives rise to totally a fluffy nature. And here, if you are using the liquid, if you are using any fruit juice, there also what is happening? Fermentation is taking place and alcohol is being formed. Okay, so we are talking about this fermentation process. Okay, so who was the scientist who first said about this? He was Louis Pasteur in the year 1857. Okay, who was it? Louis Pasteur. Okay, in the year 1857. He was the one who said about this process of fermentation of the formation of alcohol. Okay, even when we are talking about this, the microorganisms, okay, you see that yes, we get the earthly smell. Okay, what is that? Here also bacteria is playing a role over there. Okay, so microorganisms very important. So fermentation. Who just first said about this process of fermentation? He was Louis Pasteur. Okay, in the year 1857. Okay, this Louis Pasteur is also known as father of microbiology. Father of microbiology. Okay, very important person. Okay, he said about this fermentation process. Okay, how these microorganisms, okay, go through this process and produces what? Alcohol. Okay, and yes, father of microbiology is also Louis Pasteur. Now let us see some of the medicinal uses of the microorganisms. Okay, so what are the medicinal use of this microorganism? Sometimes when you are ill, you go to doctor, they prescribe you antibiotics, isn't it? So antibiotics is the first one we'll be saying, antibiotics. Okay, prescribe you some antibiotics, okay, like tetracycline, streptomycin, ofloxacin, erythromycin. These all are the different names of the antibiotics. Okay, so doctor prescribes you that. This why actually this what happens. These antibiotics they stop or kill the growth of the microorganisms. Basically, what? Bacteria. Okay, and it can be prepared. These antibiotics can be prepared from the microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. Okay, so when we are talking about this microorganisms, one name of a scientist that is Alexander Fleming. Okay, what did he do? He was doing culture of the disease causing bacteria. Okay, and accidentally he found that yes, the bacteria which he was culturing, okay, was not showing proper growth, and he saw something other substance is there in the culture. And when he studied that, it was penicillium. Penicillium is what? The fungi. Okay, and this penicillium was not allowing that disease causing bacteria which he has taken as a specimen for culture to grow. And even it has reduced its growth. So now here, what was the function of this penicillium then? This penicillium was used as the antidote for that bacteria which was causing what? The disease. So these antibiotics, okay, are used in order to kill and to stop the growth of the microorganisms. So from there only it started the phenomenon of the antibiotics. Okay. Now, how do these antibiotics work? Okay. Suppose if the doctor prescribes you, suppose erythromycin, doctor prescribes you. Okay. And he says that he has one tablet in the morning, one tablet in the evening. But what are you doing? You are having one tablet in the morning and evening the first day. Second day, what did you do? You only had it in the evening. Third day, you had it only in the morning. Fourth day, you didn't have it. Okay. Again, fifth day, you are continuing. Okay, first day and doctor has said the in the evening, you have continued. Is this the proper way of eating, having the antibiotics? Okay. This will be a disaster. Why? I'm saying the word disaster over here. Because these antibiotics, whenever it is being taken, it is taken by when it is prescribed by the doctor, okay? And what the doctor has prescribed, okay, we should have that in that proper time only and in that proper dose only. If it is hindered, what will happen? This antibiotic will not work later on properly and you will be resistant for that antibiotic. So overeating of the antibiotics, irregular way of having the antibiotics, total will create what? A problem. That is that you will be having the resistance for that antibiotic. Further, you can't use it. So whenever you are using or you are having any antibiotic, okay, or you are prescribed any antibiotic, take it in proper time and in proper dose. See, regarding the animals, okay, like the poultry and the livestock, these animals, they are being infected by the microorganisms, okay. So in order to provide them the antibiotics, okay, in their food only it is mixed, and as the result, they can be prevented from the growth of the harmful microorganisms in their body. When we talk about these antibiotics, okay, and when we talk about simple cough and simple flu, we don't take antibiotics. Why? The reason is why? Because this common cold and flu, these are caused by viruses. And these are antibiotics, when we are talking about, they are not effective against the virus, they are effective against the bacteria. So, the second medicinal use of microorganism is the vaccine. With the name vaccine, Edward Jenner's name is related. Okay, how? Because he was the first one to discover this vaccine. Okay, so what is the story behind it? How he was able to, let us understand. So, in a village, there was a population, okay, in which some people were suffering from smallpox and some with cowpox. Okay, so it was seen that the cowpox was not so severe as the smallpox. Smallpox, the people who were suffering from smallpox, okay, it was deadly and even it was causing death. Okay, so people of that area said Edward Jenner that this is happening, that is the people who have suffered from cowpox were now were not suffering from smallpox. So hearing this, okay, some questions came to, okay, and was arised, which we can also think, isn't it? So a boy, 8-year-old boy, he was suffering from smallpox, okay. So what did Edward Jenner do? This milkmaids who had already suffered from this cowpox, okay, from one of them, he took out the fluid. Basically, it is the serum, okay, fluid, and he just scratched the skin of that boy and added that fluid in his body. Okay, what did he see? Surprisingly, the boy started recovering from this smallpox. Okay, because you could see that at that place blisters were formed, but the recovery from this disease, smallpox, was seen in that boy. And yes, after some time he recovered also. Okay, and then what did he do? He took out the fluid from that boy again, okay, who was suffering from smallpox. Okay, he took, while he was suffering from smallpox, he took the fluid, kept it, and when he had recovered from that disease, okay, again inoculated that fluid in that boy's body by through injection. Okay, and what was seen, that yes, that boy was not again getting that disease of smallpox. So here it was made out, okay, or conclusion was made that yes, if a person suffering from any disease, okay, can't get that disease again. Why? Because in that, what has happened in the body of that boy now, antibodies had been formed against that disease. Okay, and this one had, after discovering everything, this also came, the answer was also got by the cowpox. People who had suffered earlier were not suffering from smallpox because their body has produced the antibodies against the disease. Okay, so when we talk about this vaccine, okay, so this vaccine, what is this vaccine actually? The polio vaccine, the hepatitis vaccine, this coronavirus vaccine, the COVID vaccines. Okay, number of vaccines we are hearing. Okay, what are their purpose actually? What are these? In these, what happened? The weak or the dead germs, okay, are given, okay, or inoculated in a person body so that the body can produce antibodies. And once these antibodies are produced, it starts fighting against the germs. As the vaccines are consisting of only the weak germs, okay, so their multiplication is slow in our body. Okay, and as it is slow in our body, the antibiotics which are being produced by the body starts working against these weak germs. And yes, one time comes that our body has produced so much of antibiotics, I'm saying, sorry, beta, antibodies, that when naturally a person gets affected with these germs, okay, the healthy germs, these antibodies fights against that, and the person is now free from that disease. The person, it doesn't get that disease because it has already produced antibodies against those germs. Okay, so now the third use of this microorganisms is increasing the soil fertility. So what happens in increasing of soil fertility? Actually, we know that there are certain bacteria, okay, which fixes nitrogen in the soil, okay, like cyanobacteria, okay. This is what the blue-green algae. This blue-green algae, it fixes the atmospheric nitrogen to the soil so that the plants can use it and they can grow properly and in a healthy manner. So, indirectly, what it is doing, it is enriching the soil. It is increasing the soil fertility by adding the atmospheric nitrogen to the soil. Okay. So now fourth one is what? The use of the microorganism, that it cleans up the environment. Okay, so it cleans up the environment. Okay, how does it clean the environment? By what happens in that? Suppose any things you have thrown out, the biodegradable things which can be decomposed by the microorganisms, okay? Any biodegradable thing like food, okay, paper. When you throw this garbage, you will be seeing after some time that this garbage, if you have thrown chapati, does it remain chapati? No. It has changed. Why? Because the microorganism act on those garbage, okay, the food items, all the biodegradable items which can be decomposed by the microorganisms. Okay, what happened? It decomposes, and time comes when it totally forms what? The soil. And so actually what is happening, that it is cleaning the environment. Okay, if you think about the compost, okay, what do? We dig it and we just throw those all the kitchen waste in that. After sometimes we see that yes, nothing of garbage is there or has formed what? The soil. And here we can say that yes, these microorganisms are decomposing these all the waste materials and thereby cleaning the environment. Okay, so today we have studied about the microorganisms and the uses of microorganisms. In the next class, we will be studying about how they are enemy to us, how they are harmful to us, and how their growth can be prevented. So this is all for today. Good day. Take care.